I feel guilt. I
Before we
feel
do that,
okay.
before we do that, do we have an actual count of paid membership?
So hey, go for it, Ron.
Okay,
Tell us
I
about your
still have
toaster
to.
oven.
Okay. Oh, I had a big white screen in front of me. I had to click continue.
Ah,
Okay. So let's see. What has Ron been up to? Oh, I made some mushrooms.
Well,
Well, the sad thing is the woman that asked me about making those square bowls, she was up to talking about it and she saw the mushrooms and she bought 3 of them right off.
oh,
And I was so tickled pink about the coasters and trivets that I did. Well, the first batch I did worked out well, but I did another batch and I lost about 80% for splitting.
oh, my.
Oh, there's another trasher. They make fantastic fire starters. So, and that one's got a split in it. I'm probably gonna lose 100% on those. Damn it! This one's gonna split in it too. I thought I had a process down, but apparently not.
yeah, cookies are hard.
I'm really disappointed. Now that I see this, I should have gotten a lot more money for what I had. So it's a never-ending learning process. Hey, you know what? I'm trying to find people to give stuff to. The thing is that if I have a bowl that has a little crack in it, it's still a gorgeous bowl, but you can't sell it.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, you want a nice 14-inch cherry bowl? Sure. You don't tell them there's crack in it because then they say, oh, you're giving me your junk. Hey, here's a tidbit to everybody. If there's a flaw in something that you made, they give it to somebody, don't tell them. They don't care. They appreciate it that much more. Don't tell them there's a flaw. And I used to do it all the time. And it was something I read in Wood magazine or something. So I'm just getting to that point now after like 40 years.
So I want to hear more about your oven.
The toaster oven.
Yeah, well, how you make that work?
Okay, well, basically, I started off. I read about the roasting wood. It's thermally modified wood. You can buy it commercially. They sell it for siding. They sell it for decking and whatnot. And it makes it so the roasting or the thermally modifying, the commercial guys doing an atmospherically controlled oven. Okay, well, I don't have an atmospherically controlled oven. So what happens, it changes the sugars and the tannins in the wood, and that's what actually changes the color. And I'm not worried about rotting, but it actually helps prevent rotting. I believe in Japan they call it sugai, where they burn the outside of the boards that they put on for siding, and it actually makes it more waterproof. And definitely, insects don't go into it. Well, again, this was something I read about maybe 20 years ago, and then a couple months ago, Woodcraft magazine had a thing about it. I said, damn, I want to do it, because they actually do it for a lot of guitar necks and stuff. You have some fiddleback or different maple things and stuff like that. And it just does a little more pop. Okay, so when I started, I tried doing it in a regular gas grill, and I got it to work, but I actually I probably put like 6 pieces in, and 4 of them started charring. And it wasn't that when I learned about the amount of smoke. I did it in a pellet grill, and same type of thing. I it was going good, but then I'm getting all this smoke. And then I did some shot glasses in a little, I don't know, Ninja air fryer. We never ever used the damn thing. Somebody gave it to us and whatever, and said, hey, let's try it in. And the shot glasses came out awesome. I was so tickled pink. Okay, so let's see here. No, okay. Okay, so this
Oh, oh my.
isn't that nice?
Yeah.
You know, the problem is I don't get a lot of money for my stuff. I have an issue about would I pay that? And damn no, I would never buy a wood bowl. I can't justify spending the money. So I have a very difficult time. The most expensive thing I ever sold was like $275. But if I were actually ever became a league member, that would double in price. The thing is, I don't think I will ever become a league member because I don't want to be that fussy on every single thing. You know, I make stuff to be used. So when I got these done in the air fryer, then I decided, well, I'll buy a air fryer toaster oven. I found the biggest one I could find. It was like $130, and I've been playing with it. Now I've still ruined a few pieces, and it's like it smokes. So I have it's right by a garage door. The door's open. I have a fan behind it, and you get smoke. But if it really, really starts billowing, open it up and find the one that's charring. I'm not exactly sure why some actually, you open up and I say charring, it's smoldering. Okay. I had one that it had a split. There was some bark inclusion. And I thought that I would maybe do the casting resin and mica powder in it, but I said no. And then I had another one. Now I put roughed out bowls in like this one, okay? And I had one, I was finishing it, and apparently it was a crack, and it was so bad the thing blew apart. So it actually blew in half. And I was actually thankful I was wearing a face shield. Now, one thing I will say with the roasting is that the shavings, it's like powder. It's not shavings. So these pen blanks that I made, when you turn that, it's not ribbons or anything like that comes off there. It's actually powder. It actually makes it a lot harder. I've done some spatulas and stuff, and it actually really, it does a nice thing with the color. I just like the darker color, you know?
What kind of settings do you use?
Well, listen, on this toaster oven, it has air fry, convection, bake, so on and so forth. And basically, air fry is the best one that I come up with. And if I do it at 400 degrees, it may be a bit much. So I'm still experimenting. I've only done about 12 cooks. So it's, I got so much freaking wood to play with. But I've actually done a few, actually I'm putting pieces in that are almost done or completely done. So I'm not trying to cook 2-inch thick or 1-inch thick pieces of wood, which I think that's a big plus for me. But again, like with this bowl is 13.5 inches. It's the max that would fit in that thing. And this was totally finished, but now that's finished, it looks like it was a once turn thing because it's got a little bit of a thing to it, but that's still a freaking gorgeous bowl.
Mm.
You know, there's, and Tom, when you did the demo last month and you did the little lip detail,
Yep.
I copied you.
Good.
I did. I've done a bunch of bowls and I've done a lot with detail at about that point. You know, I took the golden mean caliper to find out where this point would be. You know, and the golden mean came from the Trent Bosch demo.
Right.
And I want to get a larger golden mean caliper, but I'm, you know, baby steps. Here's another one. Okay. And these are, well, you have to keep in mind that these are really punky bowls because I've got wood that's sitting around forever. And I just hate just turning and throwing away because it's actually passed. So, you know, I'm still working on how to semi-stabilize it. You know, at one point I tried using shellac, saturate the punky wood with shellac, and it works. It hardens it, but actually moves the wood. So on this bowl, it had no cracks in it before I tried to stabilize it so I can get a half decent finish. So in the punky area, this light stuff, this stuff here, that was this stuff here. I mean, it was sponge. You know how when you're cutting something that's really punky and it just tears out?
Yep.
And so I had this thing was maybe 3/8 thickness. And I put the shellac in there, saturated. Well, the shellac made it crack. Whatever it did, and it distorted the damn bowl. This thing was finished. I had to remount it to make it so it's semi-uniform in thickness and round. So I think I might be trying linseed oil when I get around to doing some more. But you know, and then on this bowl, like I was telling Marcel earlier, you know, the butterfly repairs. So these are wood inserts, butterfly inserts. These two are mica powder in casting resin, and it is so much easier. so much easier.
Oh. Nice. Okay. Sue, you had some things there, didn't you?
Yeah, I have, when I was playing with elm, it was a small elm tree that grew on my property line that had been dead for years. So when we cut the tree down, it was perfectly dry. And elm, most of the time the grain doesn't show, except when I use this very old, like 4, 5, 6-year-old Danish oil colored red. Then it brought out, I don't know if you can see it. It brought out this crazy grain, very fine at times.
What's do you have? Is that 2 pieces, or what's with the?
It's
what's
one
with
piece.
the piece about midway? It's got a lighter color.
It's just got a bead there. That's all. But it's this old cherry Danish oil.
Okay, so that was
nothing else brings the grain out.
that was like a spindle turning, right?
Yes.
It wasn't cross grain.
Right. It's spindle turning.
Because this is elm.
Oh, wait, let me get you back at the unspotlight here.
Similar.
So you just have dried flowers in that, right?
Right. Except they have you can put things in it because there's a test tube.
Okay,
Oh, nice.
okay.
Slides into it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that I made a vase back, one of my earliest pieces, a hollow form, and I gave it to an uncle. God bless his soul, but he put flowers with water in it.
Oh,
So I had to turn around and make the thing waterproof. And the general wood bowl finish with many coats did end up doing it. And actually, that's what I use on my tumblers and my shot glasses. And actually, anything that isn't say a perfect wood specimen. If it's a good wood specimen, meaning I don't have to do anything to the wood to make it usable, I do walnut oil. But anything else, shellac seal coat, and then general wood bowl finish.
General wood bowl finish.
Yeah, and then I end up rubbing. I do way too much work for what I do.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is something I've got for, it's an epoxy called Max Clear. So the two-part, so you do 2 parts of the clear and 1 part of the amber one. It's supposed to be food safe and FDA approved. I was gonna try it on some goblets, but I haven't done that yet.
What did you pay for that, Tom?
What's that?
What did that set you back?
I think around $40.
Yeah, that's the trouble I find with epoxies. It's really expensive.
Yeah, they're not cheap.
Damn.
But
I did a goblet that I did a CA glue finish. And I had to turn it a couple times so it would hold 12 ounces. But it holds 12 ounces. Now it just sits on a shelf. You know, whatever.
Nice.
Can't remember the name of the company, but there's somebody out there is coming up with a plant-based epoxy. They have it to 70% plant-based now, and then 30% of the petrochemical. But they think that in a few years they'll have one completely natural, eco-friendly. So you won't lose your taste buds and sense of smell by using it.
it is funny.
Nice. Oh,
So Tom, have you played with it, mica powder at all, or have you done turquoise?
I haven't.
Have you done turquoise?
I have not yet.
Because I actually think this came out really well.
I haven't played with the mica powder, but I'm trying to see if I can find. I had a blank to the turn.
Okay. Tom, are you familiar with what Scott Ruswick used to do?
No.
Kind of his signature thing. So what Scott used to do is he used to do a lot of oak and ash platters. He would use a blue dye on it, okay, blue stain or something. Then he would use a gilding paste to highlight it. Okay.
Okay.
And
Yep.
then I believe he would put a lacquer finish coat over it. Well, I'm thinking that with this is a perfect example. I don't know if you can see the wood grain in that, the highs and lows of the wood grain. So I'm thinking that I'm going to try something like that with a gold mica powder. We'll see. Baby steps, baby steps. I got 30 things running in my head. You know,
How fine is that mica powder?
well, let's put it this way. If you're not careful, it'll get over everything. It's that woman that did the casting resin for pens and stuff.
Yeah, Terry.
I believe I don't remember her name, but I believe she was using mica powder to do the coloring in the casting resin. Maybe she was using liquid, but the mica powder is, 1 second. Okay. The stuff's cheap. I forget how much, but there's a turquoise color. Here's the supposedly walnut color, and I asked my wife, should I do yellow or gold, and she went for gold, and I don't know, that probably cost $15 or something. I definitely, it's definitely cheaper than the actual stone, and I'm not going to tell anybody that, it's just accented, if they ask, I'm gonna say it's mica powder, but in most cases I won't say something unless somebody asks.
Yeah, this is a piece of apple, which I filled a big crack with resin.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's no powder or anything in it. So I'm gonna return that sometime soon.
So did you tint the resin at all?
Yep. Yeah, I made it like sort of a greenish.
What did you use for a tint? Did you use anily dye or something?
I used Mixodyl.
Okay. So I did some with some trans tint.
Yep.
I had this probably 18-inch thing that I did once turn, put the legs on it and so on and so forth. But as it dried, there was something that really moved, and there was a big void in the bottom. So I mixed some trans tint dye in some epoxy and did that. But the casting resin is I definitely like that a lot better.
Yeah. But these are the dyes I used.
Yeah. I've got some of those mix-alls. Yeah.
And I got a I think it was liquid diamond casting resin. It's a real slow setting, so it doesn't because it's time for the bubbles to get out. You don't need a pressure pot.
Yeah, I picked up a gallon of Alumalite. It's going to last me a long time. I had to pick up a bunch of measuring cups, because I'm using so little at a time. But
and you need the right ones. Get the wrong ones, they'll melt.
Yeah.
No, whatever. I'm mixing it in a Dixie cup, not a Dixie cup, but what you'd have in your bathroom for rinsing, the little 4-ounce cups.
Mm-hmm.
I use these mini. Hold on a second. God, I get everything on Amazon. I don't go anyplace anymore. I don't have to. So with the casting resin I'm using, you have to have equal volumes, not measurement. Okay, so usually I'm only going to maybe 5 milliliters of each one of these, and I still have plenty left over. And it takes about half an hour before it starts firming up with what I'm playing with.
Mm-hmm.
So for the butterflies that I did with the walnut mica powder and casting resin, I actually took hot melt glue and built up and made a dam, and then poured it into the void, and then 2 days later, then I went and sanded it. So the thing is that with a lot of my stuff, I have to do a lot of really cautious sanding. It's so easy to, with the punky stuff, I'm just too cheap to just, it's too bad to work with. No way. It still makes a nice bowl, but I spend way too much time playing with them.
Hmm. Chris, are you here? Chris Miller?
I am.
You are. You got a lathe recently, didn't you?
I did.
You talk about your lathe?
Sure. Let me see how I do this. You can hear me now.
We can
Yeah.
hear you. Can't see you.
Okay, so how do I see?
To the, are you on a PC or a laptop or something?
Oh,
There you
yeah,
go.
there we are. Okay, so I had a Delta MIDI. Excuse me. And I wanted to get something bigger, but I have a very tiny shop. And as a result, Powermatic solved my problem by coming out with a 2014. So it's a desktop that's will handle a 14-inch bowl. And the Raycon that I had weighed 78 pounds, and this weighs 320. So it's a full size, man-sized turning lathe with all the Powermatic stuff on it, but it's small.
But it's not, you said it was a desktop. It actually came with a base and stuff. That's where a lot of the mass is, isn't it?
No, you can buy it without the base.
And without the base, it's 300 pounds?
Yes.
Wow, okay, cool.
Yeah, it's pretty sturdy. The problem was to get a tabletop that was strong enough to hold it. So I ended up bolting it into the concrete wall, and that worked pretty well. So I like it a lot. It will do really small finials up to 14-inch. I had some bird's eye maple that was 5 inches by 14 inches, and made 3 bowls with it. It was awesome. Yeah, there we are.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's without the base. And fortunately, the base here come the tailstock and the motor and everything come off. So with help, you can get someone to help you with the base, and then each of the other parts are carryable.
Wow.
Yeah,
That
it's
base is really long. That base is
it,
huge.
it's really super, and couldn't be happier. I've had it for almost a year now.
Yeah, that magnetic controller is a nice unit.
It
You can
is.
put that wherever you want it.
Yeah, and it always got in the way, so I have a place now that it's pretty good. But it's nice to have that flexibility.
As long as you remember where you left it,
Yeah, well, I always follow the cord.
right? Yeah. No,
I left it here somewhere.
and you go
What's the,
switch where it was before.
what's the spindle thread on that? 1 inch 8, 1 1/4
Yeah.
8?
I had to use an adapter for the chuck, for the Nova chuck. So it was probably larger.
Okay, 1 1/4 8.
Yeah,
maybe?
yeah. Because I was disappointed when I got the Nova chuck that it required the adapter, but that's okay. It's super. And it'll take, I have 3 different rests. There's one that's a curved 14-inch that's really super for the larger bowls, because it allows me, it has a J on it, and it allows me to get into the bottom of the bowls. Before now, I just couldn't get into even a 4-inch deep bowl with confidence. But with the J, it's just super. So I couldn't be happier. And it's not very expensive relative to, the $4,000 machines. This is about a $2,000 machine.
Mhm. Nice. Plenty of power.
Haven't stopped it yet. Well, yeah, when I get a catch sometimes, it'll stall it out. But there's nothing, like I said, I dealt with the 5-inch by 14-inch bird's eye maple, which is pretty damn hard. And it worked well. It didn't stall it out. Particularly when I got it going at a decent speed.
Nice.
So that's my story, and I'm sticking with it.
What was the speed range on it?
Goes from like 10 to about 3,000.
Wow,
Yeah,
it's a huge range.
It's a huge range. There are 3 different pulley sections, but I use the middle one, and it goes really slow for the soft sanding, because I deal with a lot of Ron, a lot of that punky stuff, and you can't aggressively sand it because it gets all kinds of wobbly, and as a result, I can do a real slow and do a real slow on the sanding, and that works extremely well.
The majority of the sanding I do is the bowl is not turning.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just, if I sanded while it was turning, I would have severe dips, especially with the punky stuff.
Yeah,
You know.
I found the same thing. Have you ever tried, there's a thin wax
Hardener.
hardener?
Yeah, I make my own. It's all it is acrylic dissolved in acetone.
Yeah,
I've done that. The thing is that it ends up coming out white.
really?
Okay, it's like if you play with CA glue and you use enough accelerant,
Yeah,
it'll turn the CA white. Theoretically, the glue boost doesn't do that, but yeah, I use that a lot. I was using that, but then I've been trying to use the shellac and
Yeah.
other things to firm up or harden punky stuff. And so I thought I had the shellac down pat, but then when I realized it actually distorts the wood. So if I can do it before I actually finish turn it and then do a finish turn, the shellac works out fantastic.
right.
Okay. And actually I'm getting to the point where I'm not going to saturate it, get it real close, put shellac on, a light coat, maybe a 3 or 4 light coats. So that way just hardens the surface
Right.
so I can get a good finish.
Yeah.
Okay. Because, I've got 3 bowls here that were all, 2 for sure that were very, very punky.
Yeah.
And they're gorgeous pieces,
Yeah. I like working with that a lot because it's cheap and it's free and cheap.
Yeah, the hardness stuff, it soaks in, but it doesn't distort the wood. I will give it that credit.
Yeah.
I've used that quite a
All you
bit.
have to do is dissolve
That's not so.
plexiglass in acetone, and you're making your own hardness. It's the same thing as a Minwax.
Right.
Okay, and if anybody needs some plexiglass, I can get some. We use it for sandblast shields and stuff, and water blast shields. So I have a never-ending supply of plexiglass. I also have wood. Ron has wood. Anybody want some wood? Come and see Ron. I got big wood. I have so much of it. I have pith taken out of it, and I'll turn it into a round piece for you. So the thing is that I've got way more wood than I'll use. So
Do you have any bird's eye maple?
hey, let's not get fussy here.
Yeah. Well, I'm picky.
I can't say I got. Yeah, I've had so much big stuff that I had 2 piles of logs that I cut the piss out of them. Okay, and all of that is now on pallets. The piths are on the pallets, and it's all under a huge tarp. I probably have 12 pallets with wood on it that the pits have been taken out, the ends have been sealed, and then I still have a pile of logs, maybe 40 feet long, 6 feet high, 8 feet long.
Oh, my.
That so if you want some wood, and I'll give it to you. Okay, just come and get it. Come and visit.
And if anybody
I'm
wants,
off on Fridays.
and if anybody wants, I'm in Manchester 1 day a week now with work. So I could probably get over to Bedford and pick it up if anybody doesn't want to make the drive. So,
I've got maple, I've got cherry. There should be some ash. I've got some really spectacular maple. It's actually, I've had this stuff 4 years now. It came from Hancock, New Hampshire, and it's absolutely stunning material with spalting and stuff. But for Claude Dupree, it's past its thing. Okay, for Ron Marcoux, it's fantastic. Okay, so I'll be right back. I think I have some pieces in the garage.
I hope they're not the 8-footers.
No, they're almost manageable.
So I stopped by Highland Hardwood today just to see what they had in the bird's eye maple. I would have to have taken out a second and third mortgage. It was just unbelievably expensive.
wow.
Oh my goodness gracious. So yeah, tough to find something that's reasonably priced there.
Yeah. Well, I usually go to the short spin when I'm there. So.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, wow.
Okay, and I don't know. I have so much of this. And I seal the ends on everything. This had I had a good brush here. This had PVA glue on the face. Now this is what, 6 inches thick, 16 inches across.
That's gorgeous.
So
where are you located, Ron?
In Bedford.
Okay. Do you have an address?
Yep, 28 Pauley Peabody Road. Now, the thing is, at Pauley, P-O-L-L-Y,
okay.
Peabody, P-E-A-B-O-D-Y, Road, Bedford. It's a dirt road, short dirt road, goes between New Boston Road and Joppa Hill Road. If you head up this way, there's an antique dump trailer on the corner of my lawn. Now, I'm not big into lawns, so I've been trying to bury my grass with shavings. Okay, it hasn't worked out too well. I can't use a mower anymore. I have to do weed whacking because it's also soft. But
like him.
I really have a lot more wood than I can actually use. And I can make you some nice blanks. I can resaw 21 inches so we can make a nice flat back and whatnot. And,
And
so
do you have a phone number so I can give you a call if I'm going to come?
Well, I'll tell you what, how about if I do my email, because
Okay.
I very seldom have my phone with me.
Understand.
And it's off during the day, and a lot of times I forget to turn it on, and
Yeah.
I don't text. If you text me, I have my wife respond. Baby steps.
Right.
So the email address is remwoodcrafting@yahoo.com. And if you come and get stuff, if you feel you want to do a donation, be my guest. I don't buy the wood, but I don't really take into account the time I go and get it. But I really have an unbelievable amount of material here that, you know, I have this, I'm gonna call it like a closet thing outside that is chock full with prep bowl blanks. They're probably 10, 12, 14-inch diameter things. But, you know, behind the house, on the back side of the house, I've got so much wood. So, and I keep offering it. I have 2 big apple pieces and a bunch of other ones. Ends are all sealed. The 2 big chunks I have is probably 18 inches across, 20 inches long.
Wow.
You know, and I'm not going to get to it. An apple splits really quick.
Yeah, it does.
I actually sealed the ends with PVA glue and then put paper on it. And that's something I'm experimenting with to use less PVA glue, because a lot of times I use 3 or 4 coats.
Yeah.
But with the paper, I think that's going to be a game changer. You know, so here's, so
I put his address and phone and email in the chat.
okay, so here's 2 walnut bowls. This one, they're probably 8 inches, 7 inches. They're gonna be yarn bowls, but they start out from a 12, 14-inch chunk, but it sat around so I had so many checks, and so I ended up putting PVA glue on the end grain and then put the paper on it, and so now that's my attempt at slowing down the drying process. But these are the first walnut bowls I ever did. Because somebody gave me the wood. So that maple, it's sugar maple, and I'll tell you, it's I've done so much stuff in that stuff. It's absolutely stunning. Oh, that's not, whatever. I could look through my stuff because I have so much of it that I've turned a lot of pieces from that, you know. But again, you want some wood? The only thing, keep in mind, I have big stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, when I first started turning, I was thinking, oh, I want to do big ass bowls. Well, you know, what the hell do you do with a bowl that holds 5 gallons of potato salad? You know,
Oh, he's terrific.
Used to play
Yeah.
tomatoes.
The 14-inch is just perfect for a nice sized salad bowl. And anything larger than that, you know, you got to have a huge party.
So this, you take a picture of your granddaughter in. Okay.
It's like a wash basin.
He gave one of those huge bowls to Bowls for Mom, and literally the family put their baby inside the thing in the middle of Bowls for Mom. And she sat there as happy as a pig in a mud puddle. It was cute as could be, and it ended up selling to a woman who took it to Canada so that she could feed her family popcorn over vacation.
Oh, my goodness.
The whole vacation.
Yeah, I guess.
One bowl.
One shot of popcorn
That's
lasted
right.
all week.
Well, I have a neighbor that does a pig roast, or usually does a pig roast in the end of the haying season. And one of these bowls I brought there and loaded it with popcorn. You know, there's 100 people there, so we had to fill it a couple times, but it worked out awesome.
Oh, jeez.
So, you know, I've offered the material a number of times and whatever, you know, it's, you know, maybe people don't get used to me. I have a philosophy about Ron Marcoux, and that is to meet me is to hate me, to know me is to love me. You know, so whatever. It is what it is.
What time do you get home, like on Tuesdays and Wednesdays?
I get home about 4.
Okay.
Okay, and I check my REM email at work on a regular basis. You know, I'm a tool maker by trade, so I end up with a lot of idle time. To give you an example, yesterday I work 8 hours a day, and I spend about 15 minutes setting up a program that may run for 5 hours. And the rest of the time, so that's when I make stuff. So that's where the stuff comes that I'll drop off, Tom, for raffle type
Yep.
thing.
Okay. Yeah. So if anybody wants, I'm in Manchester once a week at least. So I mean, Bedford's just a little bit down the road from there. So I'd be happy to bring it down back to the Seacoast for people if anyone doesn't want to make the 3-hour drive. So just let us know. We'll arrange something. So
Tom, if you bring a truck, I could load you up.
now I don't have a truck, but
Thanks, Ron,
Hey.
for the offer.
Whatever.
I'll take you up on it. And you say
Okay.
you're off on Fridays.
I'm off on Fridays. I'm home at 4, usually home about 4 during the week. After Labor Day, I'll be home Thursday and Fridays.
Mhm.
I'm reducing my hours unless I'm busy. Then I'll work if needed. But
That's great.
No.
Thank you so much for the offer.
I have to apologize because it feels like everything's about Ron. But the owner where I work has a philosophy, and it's worked out well. If Ron's happy, everyone's happy.
My wife has a saying,
Personality.
something like that.
You're good.
Okay, so I have something I did. I thought I was going to do a whole bunch of them, but after I did the first one, I said, yeah. So my first ever birdhouse,
Oh,
Ooh,
oh my.
and the top. There's a little story about the top. So I had gotten somebody had given me some cherry. Well, I was led to believe it was cherry. So I went down and they were having a bunch of trees taken down, and supposedly the cherry was all stacked in a pile. So with my trailer and stuff, I winched the stuff on. I did probably 3 loads, and I offered cherry to people, and Claude Dupree came over and got some, and I cut off a piece 4 feet long, 5 feet long, off a couple of logs, and I gave it to Claude, and then so Claude went home and he turned some of it, and we were talking one time, and I turned probably 26-inch individual bowls out of what I thought was cherry, and it was very light. Okay, very light. And Claude calls me up and says, "Hey, Ron, some of that cherry I think is pine." So this top piece was from a cutoff from the pine that I thought was cherry that was going to darken over time. Hey, me, it's wood. I just go. So, I'm not the smartest, sharpest tool in the shed.
it's
Can you
meant
show
for
the-
cherry.
Can you
So
show the bottom?
Pardon?
Can you show the bottom of your birdhouse, please?
Oh, so this is a piece of apple. Okay. So I've been getting logs, big logs. The maple that I'm talking about, I had to buy a 42-inch bar to be able to cut the stuff up. Okay. And so after thinking about it, where I want to make some mushrooms, I thought about making some of Jim Forbes' little birdhouses. And that's kind of where this started. And so I've actually been searching for branches. So I have a couple of pallets full of branches, and that's how the mushrooms did it. But when I did this, it's a nice little thing, but I really hate it. I got to find somebody to give it to,
Yeah.
So whatever.
There are bird lovers who'd love that.
Yep. I'll tell you, I would like to find some organizations to donate stuff. I was at my son's distillery this past weekend. Some lady came in, and all of a sudden Andre's giving her these bottles. Come to find out, she was she was there for some type of a fundraiser. So I went over into the shelves and grabbed the bowl, one with the feet, and I gave it to her. And she goes, well, this probably won't work for the golf fundraiser we're having, but it'll work for another one. So, hey, if you know a organization that would like a bowl or two, especially a big one, oh, keep me in mind. Because honestly, I haven't actually tried to sell those. I just can't see who the hell would want one. You know, when I started, I thought that was what I was going to do all the time. You know, with the real big ones I did, that came from a tree down the road, and I used a motor lift to get it on my homemade lathe. And, you know, yeah, 13, 14-inch bowls are the perfect size.
They really
You
are.
know, for yeah, that's really it. You know, I have this. What did I do with it? Oh, this once turnt bowl that I did where I tried to stick plywood around it. You know, it's a beautiful piece, but Christ, you have to have a big dining room table or something to have it there as a centerpiece. You know?
I do.
Huh. Who said that?
My mother.
Oh.
Oh, Tom.
Enough of Ron. Let's see some other people's
Yeah.
stuff. You
Who else
know,
has things to do with the
I
show?
have 3 days a weekend to do stuff. So
Yeah.
The interesting thing about sizing bowls, it's kind of fascinating. The guild had a field trip over to Andrew Pierce
Pierce,
Bowl.
yeah.
He's actually the brother of Simon Pierce, the glassmaker, and he will sell you a 4 foot by 4 foot by 4 foot box full of 10-inch bowls, all roughed out, sort of half green, half dry, not too far off the dry process, for, I don't know, a couple of $100 or something, because the 10-inch bowl does not sell. 9 and 11 he can get rid of in a heartbeat, but he doesn't actually do those. He does 10s and 14s and 6s. And his 10-inch bowl, he says, is absolutely useless. He offered them to us as a way of training people, and a couple of school teachers were interested, but they didn't have the cash, so that went down the tubes. But plus the fact, the roughing out process in the first curve is the fun part. Who wants to sit there and sand somebody else's bowl? But it was fascinating that little tiny bowls, medium-sized bowls, and enormous ones don't sell, but there is a real market for the stuff in the middle.
Yeah, that's what I found.
Here's a couple things. Here's what I'm working on. I made this one here, and I gotta make this one look just like it.
Oh,
So that's my next project.
oh my.
Do you
Right,
sell
that's
those,
pretty.
Tom?
This is gonna be a gift, but yeah, I'll sell these. I made a set. A match set over Christmas for a Christmas present for someone. And then this is almost the same.
that's absolutely so much harder than it sounds.
It is.
It,
It is.
it
That's why I
ever
try to
so
make
much
it-
harder.
I try to make my details nice and simple. I try not to get too ornate because I'll look if I'm doing just one, you know, I'll do little coves and beads and all over it. But yeah, you don't want to try to reproduce that though. This one's nice. It's pretty simple profile, so it will be. I can get pretty close without working too hard. So, but this is gonna be the same with a different top. So that's the next thing.
Now,
to get back on my lathe.
Is those pieces glued together?
Yep. Yeah. It's
So it's not a solid piece.
nope. It's cherry and purple heart. You can see it there.
Yeah.
I remember.
And you use Type Bond for glue?
Yep. So that's going to be the. Oh yeah. Here's the top of that one, but you can see the joint on that one better. So 2 pieces, thick piece of cherry, thin piece of cherry and purple heart.
Yeah. Hey, is everybody doing the symposia this weekend?
I am. I just got my ticket in the mail, in the email. Electronic ticket.
Got a link for that too, supposedly.
So, and also there's something else which I was going to mention, but I forgot. Cindy Droz is doing something Friday night with some of the vendors, and it's free on our website. Let me see. I think I have it bookmarked here somewhere. Yep, here it is. Let me share this real quick. There it is. Vendor showcase, interactive Zoom meeting. So you have to register on her site, cindydrozda.com, and it's free. You can go and it's going to be airbrushing wood with, I'm not sure who that's with. I can't read it here.
Humming.
Cindy Drozda, John Jordan, Lyle Jamison. I'm not sure who's the wood turning tool shop, tool store.
Remember his name. Damn it. That's not his name, but
Oh wait, here it is. Down here maybe. Join me, Todd Raines.
Todd Raines. That's it.
Okay, yeah, Joe Fleming, John Jordan, and Lyle Jamison. So free interactive Zoom meeting. So that's Friday night, and that's free. I'm sorry, for Friday afternoon, 1 to 4:30 Eastern time. Then again, Saturday and Saturday evening, 6:30 to 8:30.
Yeah, it's after the last demo, Saturday
Yeah.
night.
So those are free. But if you don't want to do the symposium itself, this is, you get a little taste of it.
Can you send that out by email?
Yeah, I could probably do that.
You could go to any one of their websites. Any one of those people have a link.
Do they? Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Todd Raines, they've been harping this thing for a couple of weeks now. They're going to do I don't know how the heck they're going to do this. They've been advertising it as a collaborative piece. How do you do that remotely? You know, yeah, and that's all they're saying. It's like a tease.
Yeah,
But I'm trying to wrap my head around it, so I'm going to go just to see what the heck that means.
sure.
But they're going to, because Todd Raines and John Jordan. John Jordan's been around for. If anybody hasn't heard of him, they're living
Right.
under a rock. Cindy Drozda. I mean, these are big. They're big names.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think next year we may try to get Cindy Drozda, but she would like empty our budget for demonstrations after that though. She gets lots of money.
She gets $350.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And depending on the group, she limits the amount of participants, or wants to make sure that there's just so many, or I don't know what it is, but I saw her once and she made a stink about that there were over 100 people, and it was wood turning 360, and Martin Saban Smith had to backpedal and say, well, wait a minute, we talked about this because this is a European group, and they did that and this and that, and finally she relented and went, oh, okay. But you could tell it was some
Well, I'll tell you, it'd be pretty amazing if sharing a demo with Granite State Woodturners, we end up with 100 people. That would be phenomenal.
That
You know, what's the most we've had? 35, 40 people on a joint?
Mike Mahoney was close to 80.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah, he was close to 80 total. I think at one point we had like 75 or so.
well, that's between the room.
That's a very good turnout for this small little state, you know,
Yeah.
southern part of the state. You know,
The
so
shocking part is we had 73 people at John Siegel's demonstration in Canterbury 2 years ago. So we're out there.
Yep.
Where'd the cat go?
Oh, she went to eat. It's her bedtime almost.
You have a log house, a log cabin house?
Yep. Yeah, in fact, you can,
That's how observant I am when I went there.
yeah, there, see the end of it there.
Yeah.
So we just had our first floors done. So we're putting the inside back together now. So basically had to fit 3 rooms into 1 bedroom to clear everything out so we can do the floors. So,
I have a question.
yep.
If you're gonna make a negative rake scraper, what are
Uh-huh.
your 2 different angles that you grind it to?
Oh, boy.
It depends. Anything less than 90. So you take the included angle has to be less than 90. That's the only real rule. If it's over 90, it's not going to work as well. Cindy Droza does like 60. She does 30 and 30. I do, I think 20 and 60 on mine because I like them. I like mine to be different. I'm not sure why, but that's what I do.
Okay, so I use negative rake scrapers all the time, and I use the same angle on both faces, about a 30-degree angle.
That's a skew.
Or 6. Well, for me, they're negative rake scrapers. And the thing with where I do this half moon or full radius or whatever is depending on which direction I'm going will determine what side I touch.
Right.
So I can use this for this way or that way.
Mhm.
Okay,
Sure.
and the angle isn't it's the angle's irrelevant because you're using the burr that cuts.
Right. I think if
Okay.
you have to keep it under 90 though to get the burr.
Yeah.
If
Well,
it's not under 90, you don't get a good burr.
well, yeah, I don't, all I know is that I have 2 grinders, 4 wheels, and I have 1 platen that's set up just for my negative rake scrapers.
And what's your included angle on them?
Oh God. Okay, wait, I'll go get something to measure.
Yeah, mine's around 70 or 80. I'm not sure exactly. but-
This is, yeah, hold on.
Because they say that if they're too fine,
they
the
don't last.
off very, very quickly, and they're basically using a screwdriver.
What does Marcel use?
I'm almost to the 70. It's a little more than 30 on each side. I'll show you next month.
That doesn't help me if I want to make one this month.
Okay, so Ashley, mine's at 72 degrees.
Okay.
That's
Okay,
12 degrees.
so the thing is that Sue,
Yeah.
this right here is a Penn State half-inch scraper. Okay, and I just ground it to end up getting, So I want to mention something. Okay, so I scrape the bottom of my bowls, and I'm not embarrassed to say that I scrape the bottom of my bowls a lot. But my scraper is almost 90 degrees. I never get a catch with this because it can't go into the wood.
What do you mean almost
Okay.
90 degrees?
The angle across here. Okay. I was at the Makerspace one day and Ken Custer, I go, I need a scraper, and he had brought a scraper and he pulled down. He had maybe a 20-degree angle or something on there. Okay, so let's see, that's at 4 degrees off of perpendicular. Okay, 3 degrees off of perpendicular. And what I'm saying is because my cutting edge is here, and I have another platen that's set up just for this grind. okay? When I go and do the bottom of my bowls, this cannot catch. It cannot dig in because the where it's almost 90 degrees, it's actually doing like a bevel rubbing cut. And, Ron Marcoux is different, okay? But this works exceptionally well for me,
Oh,
okay?
that's good.
I've never gotten a catch with this in the bottom of the bowl. I can go out probably 30% on the inside of the bowl with this if I need to.
Do you use it flat on the tool rest, Ron, or do you?
Yep, pretty much flat on the tool rest, maybe down just a little bit, but the key here is that this cannot dig in. If I tilt it down a bit, it's working as a negative or scraper, but it with the
Time.
such an angle, it cannot grab in. I'm just telling you,
Mhm.
and I'm not embarrassed to say that when I do a 16-inch bowl, 18-inch bowl, a 8-inch bowl, a lot of times I won't bother to go grab a bottom feeder. I'll just grab that and zoom, and I get half decent finishes, unless the wood's really bad. Then you have to go and do this stuff to make it so you get a good finish. But the thing is, I keep seeing all these people with scrapers with a 20-degree angle. With that 20-degree angle, it can definitely catch.
Oh, yeah.
You can put in too much. I can force this in there and it won't catch because it's a cut limiter. Okay, I just wanted to say that, just because I've been using it and it works exceptionally well for Ron Marcoux. And negative rake scrapers, I use them all the time. Here's one to do. I actually use the tenons. Okay, so here's a bowl. Okay, the foot on this is actually my tenon. I use that a lot. I actually do a relief in the bottom, but I'm just too frugal. I hate to just turn wood away. So. And I made this was made from an Allen wrench. Here's another one. Okay. That was the tenon. Okay. And it's relieved. So it looks like the bowl does a continuous thing, but I do that almost all the time.
Why did you mention an Allen wrench? What was made with an Allen wrench?
This scraper.
Oh, I'm looking.
This scraper was made with an Allen wrench. I'm a tool maker, so this was 5/16.
Oh yeah, I've made.
Where I'm a tool maker, I can go and do a lot of stuff. So I machined. Actually, no, I didn't. Did I? I must have. I machined one of the points off and on each side and whatever. The bad thing about Ron Marcoux is that a lot of the stuff that Ron does and works with isn't something you can go out and get because, I have to say I make so much of the stuff that I use. It's not fair. It's, I can't say, oh, go out and get this because, something Ron made. So I apologize for that aspect of it.
So Sue, back to your question. I would just pick a couple angles that add up. Pick 70 degrees or 80 degrees, somewhere in that range, and just pick two. Like mine around either 50 and 20 or 60 and 20, somewhere in there. You make them the same if you want, then you can flip it over.
Yeah, if you split it so it's somewhat in the middle, then you can use it for left or right. Just flip the side that you resharpen where you want the burr.
Yeah, Cindy Joza does hers the same on each side.
Right.
Other people have different things. So, just pick one, see if you like it. It's easy to change.
And speaking of Cindy Drozda, go to YouTube, Sue, and then go to Cindy Drozda. And she has I think it's like a 12-minute long video on sharpening the negative rank scraper.
That would be perfect.
Oh, good.
Very, very good photography too, so you really see close up what she's doing.
She has a really good video on sharpening her spindle gouge, detail spindle gouge too,
Yeah,
all
but
by hand.
We're talking negative rank scrapers.
I know, but I'm saying, I'm sorry.
We'll get the spindle
She
gouge.
does a very good job.
Yeah.
So, anyone have any questions about spindle gouges?
How do you
Sorry.
spindle gouge and not a bowl gouge? Um,
Anything else?
Not really.
Okay, well, maybe we'll call it a night then. So, but thanks everybody for coming and contributing.
Gotta
Is that-
go.
This is a typical July meeting. There's not many people here tonight, so that always happens in the summer, whether we're live or not. So,
Well, that's fun. Thanks, Tom.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay, thank
see
you.
y'all next
And
month. I'll email out that the thing about Cindy Drozda's her